start the lecture. Most of the students are here from group A. For them, I'll repeat the components of IDE, and Abhiyasi student have the book in the class, so you can see here the components of IDE. What is IDE? First of all, tell me what is IDE. Very well explained in the class, so please, I want a feedback that what is IDE. Hurry up. Yes, Nawal, good answer. And when I compared IDE environment with the basic environment, which you already done, yes, it provides option. When I talk about basic, which you did in class 9, it's a black and white interface. It's a sort of a command line interface in which we use to type the commands, and the OK prompt indicates that we are in a basic environment. There were no menus, no shortcut keys for when programmed in basic. But in IDE environment, we have menus, we have shortcut keys to make our work easy, right? To write the program easily, we have menus and shortcut keys. That is the IDE environment. Now, what are the components of IDE environment? First of all, editing source code. And this feature is a text editor designed for writing and editing source code. Source code, what is the source code? The program written by the programmer is the source code, right? So editing would be easy. I will show you the screen of IDE environment also. It makes the writing of the program convenient because editing is easy in IDE environment. Now, syntax highlighting is the main important feature and code completion. These important features are very helpful for the programmer. First one is the syntax highlighting. It knows as the translator is available there, that's why it knows the syntax of the language. I told you before that every language has some protocols, some rules which must be followed by the programmer, right? If I'm going to write in basic a string value, $1 is equal to Ali with a quotation mark. If I'm not going to put quotation mark, if I'm not going to put $sign, it will be given error by the translator. So syntax highlighting means the syntax of the particular language must be known by the IDE environment to make the correction at the same time of writing program, right? Syntax highlighting makes code easier to read by visually clarifying different elements of language syntax, right? Code completion, when I want to write any reserved word, like any what are the reserved words? I explained yesterday in the class. Abhiya, what are the reserved words? Yes, first of all, tell me the answer. What is the reserved word? Yes, Abhiya, what are the reserved words? Farjad, you were also there. Yes, reserve words. Shahir Alam, I'm asking about reserve words. Good, Abhiha. There are 95 reserve words in C++. And what are the reserve words? Actually, reserve words are the particular words, the statements which are used in any language, right? And these reserve words cannot be used as a variable name, as a file name, or any other thing, right? These reserved words are particular for that language, and for that I gave you the example of basic, like input, let, print. These are the reserved words of basic language. We are not going to use these reserved words as a file name or as a variable name. Okay, clear? So these reserve words, when the code completion, we are talking about code completion, these reserve words are already present in the library, in the IDE library, from where it can make it will be written by itself. Let's suppose if I'm going to write input, I will write IN and the complete word will be displayed there. So I can select there and there would be less number chances of error there. जब हम हमारे पास already वो उसका रिजर्व वर्ड हमें डिस्प्ले हो जाएगा और हम वहाँ से चूज कर रहे होंगे लाइब्रेरी से, तो हमारे लिए बहुत आसान हो जाएगा वो चीज़, इसलिए कि उसमें स्पेलिंग राइटिंग में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी. ठीक है. Zayan is here. Alhamdulillah. Welcome, Zayan. Just give me 2 minutes. Walaikum assalam. Good to see you. Okay, Nawal, anticipate means तवक्को करना. ठीक है. Expected होना. ये इसका मतलब क्या बना? It can anticipate what you are going to type next. ठीक है. ये इसको आपको most probable words जो हैं वो आपको indicate कर देगा, आपको बता देगा, आप वहाँ से choose कर लेंगे. ठीक है. जैसे मैंने आपको example दी कि if I am going to write IN, it anticipate यानी उसको तवक्को होगी कि आप कौन सा रिजर्व वर्ड यूज करना चाह रहे हैं, तो वो वहाँ पर इनपुट खुद ही दिखा देगा और आप वहाँ से चूज कर लेंगे उस रिजर्व वर्ड को. And for that, it would be convenient and the less chances of error in typing. Typing mistake के chances कम हो सकते हैं इसमें. Is it clear now? ठीक है. This is the code completion. Like for the reservoirs, there is a library in IDE environment, and from that library, it anticipate the word you most probably used to type. जो आप टाइप करने जा रहे हैं वो उसको उस वर्ड को आपको इंडिकेट कर देगा, आपको दिखा देगा, एंड यू नीड टू चूज दैट रिजर्व वर्ड फ्रॉम द लाइब्रेरी, राइट. And compiler, you know that compiler is used in C++ language, and the difference between compiler and interpreter, I explained so many times that compiler translates the whole program at once. This is the primary feature of a compiler, and interpreter translates line by line. It translates till line number 40. If line number 50 has an error, interpreter translates till line number 40 and shows you till line number 40, and after that gives the error. But as we talk about compiler, it translates the whole program. It will not translate a single line. It will not display the single line until or unless you remove the error it gives, right? And C++, I already explained you in the class that it's a difficult language. For one syntax error, for one any logical error, it gives a number of errors, right? It is not necessary that if you have one error, it will give you the one number of error. It will provide 10 to 15 number of errors for that one particular syntax error. So it is difficult to compile and debug, right? But IDE, when we talk about IDE environment provides convenience for writing the program. Now linkers and loaders. Linkers are in C++. When we talk about C++, there are some library files. Okay? In library files, there are the reserve words, and we must link that files to our program. Okay? इनपुट आउटपुट स्टैंडर्ड इनपुट आउटपुट फाइल्स होती हैं, रिजर्व वर्ड्स की फाइल्स होती हैं, वो लिंक हमें करनी पड़ती है अपने प्रोग्राम में। वो लिंक के बगैर हम अपना काम आगे फॉरवर्ड नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है। द लिंकर ओपन्स द कंपाइल्ड program file and links it with the reference library file as needed. Unless all linkers item are resolved, the process stops and return the user to the source code file within the text editor with an error message. अब इसका पर्पस क्या है, क्यों लिंक करते हैं हम लाइब्रेरी फाइल, क्यों, किस वजह से? Actually verification हो रही है. What you are going to type, it will be verified by the linking file, ठीक है. In the linking library there is a list of different reservoirs, different formulas. They will verify it and then compile, ठीक है. So the linking file is must in programming C++. Clear until now? Now the loaders and debugging. Now you tell me, what is the debugging process? It's easy. Tell me your own words. What is debugging? Okay. One more student. Yes. Yes. To remove the errors from the program is known as debugging, and IDE also provide hints while coding to prevent error before compilation. आपको पहले से ही hints देना शुरू कर देगा IDE environment. ये इसका component है कि ये आपको पहले से हिंट देना शुरू कर देगा कि आप यहाँ पर कुछ गलती कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. जैसे हम अगर वर्ड में काम करते हैं, वी हैव red line and blue line. Red line for spelling mistake and blue line for grammar mistake. In the same way, IDE environment provide you the hints to make the correction in the program. After that, we have the installation process, and I want to discuss it in the virtual class actually, because it cannot be explained properly in the physical class. Okay, linkers to link the files, the library files, and the loader is to load the executable file into the computer's memory. ठीक है, जो executable file होगी, जो आपका source code object code होगा, उसकी जो executable file होगी, उसको memory में load करना है for the display. Now this is the link from which you can download C++. Dev C++ is freely available for download from this link, and I asked you in the class as well, and I'm repeating my words to download it until or unless you will be unable to understand C++, right? Now the stepwise procedure is given here. Installation and configuring Dev C++ IDE environment. ये आपको link दिया हुआ है. There is a link here, and step by step you need to follow all the steps and install C++ in your computers. Right? Step 1, select English as a language. Obviously, you need to select the language when you write the computer program, and you need to select English. Step 2, you have to agree the license and press I agree button. And then third step, select full from the drop down menu for type of install. This will select all the necessary components required to run and compile C++ source code. Click on next. This is the automatically provided you the convenience to just click on next, and it will be installed. It is very easy. You cannot have any problem in installing this, right? Choose components. These are the files or are check mark. Now go to the next menu. Step 4, install location. You have to tell it that where do you want to install it, whether in the downloads, in the documents, on the desktop, where do you want to install it, right? Space required is given here 436.8 MB and 319.7. This is the space given about that particular computer on which it is going to be installed. Your space will be different. Choose from program files in C drive. You are going to install it in C drive, right? You need to choose the drive where you want to install it. Step 5. Now the procedure is finished, right? When C++ IDE is run for the first time, it will require some configuration. Obviously, every computer has a different configuration, so it needs to verify, right? Set English original as default interface language in the C++. First time configuring dialog, click next to continue. On the theme, see here, English is selected and then next to continue. Yes, here. Now, next, linker settings for debugging. As I told you, there is a library, right? Library of different files. Sometimes and in-depth information is required for the debugger to who is the debugger who is removing the program errors to properly identify the problem in your source code when a program is debugged. To obtain such information, our newly installed IDE and its integrated compilers need to be configured. ठीक है, इसका भी प्रोसीजर यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है. Click on tools, compiler option, then open the setting tab. Everything is given here very clearly. You will find no difficulty here in installing C++ in your computer. Just install it and start practicing the program which we are going to be started next week from in the class. Now from here, it starts developing program in DHFC++. This is the environment of that. You can see here, dev C++, right? Here are the menus are given, file, edit, search, view projects, and everything is given here in the menus. There are some shortcut keys as well. But before that, I'm going to explain. Before starting a new project in C, we will start reserve words, right? A reserve word in C++ is a word whose meaning is already defined by the compiler, and these words are already exist in the library files. Okay? A reserve word cannot be used as an identifier such as the name of a variable, function or label. It is reserved for use in C++. ये सिर्फ C++ के यूज के लिए रिजर्व होते हैं और इसके अलावा इनको कहीं और हम यूज नहीं कर सकते. It's a part of syntax and may not have any specific meaning in English language and may not have any specific language meaning in English language. What does it mean? It means that if I'm talking about these reserve words, these are the list of reserve words here. Num. There is no particular word of English. There is no meaning, right? Same as in for input in C language, out for output in C language. there are some words which does not have meanings in English language, right? In line with single word as a single word, typed F as a single word. These all are the reserve words. Okay? And these are null PTR. These are not having any particular meaning in English language. No, Nawal, you don't have to learn all these words. You have to learn some basic reserve words which we are going to use in our programs, right? There are around 9 or 10 which are continuously used in the program. Some are the looping statements as well. Some are the conditional statements as well. I explained in the class yesterday that there are what are the fundamentals of a programming. A fundamental of programming are four. First is the variable constant, second is the data type, third is the looping statement, and fourth is the conditional statement. Okay? So you don't need to learn all these. Now C++ data type, Boolean data, type, keyword size इसका और range क्या हो सकती है इसकी? Boolean, as you know that Boolean consists of only 2 digits, 0 and 1. So it consists of 1 byte or 2 byte. It could be 2 byte as well. Character data 1 byte. Integer, I explained in the class yesterday that number data can be divided into integer and floating point data. ठीक है? Integer again divided into signed data and unsigned data. What is signed data and what is unsigned data? Signed data is, for example, if I'm giving a variable a and its value is -5, right? This is the signed data. And if I'm giving the variable a and its value is 5, it is known as the unsigned data. In signed data, we have any particular sign with the value. In the same way, floating point data is divided into two: single floating point and double floating point. There is a double floating point and its size is 8 bytes. It stores fractional numbers sufficient for storing 15 decimal digits. यहाँ पर 7 decimal digits होते हैं. That's why the storage size is 4 bytes. Here are 4 bytes and 1 byte and 1 or 2 bytes. Now the constants and floating point data is wait. Here you have power, right? Power with sign, and here power with sign. From minus से प्लस का साइन. ठीक है, इसी तरह से यहाँ पर 2 डिजिट्स हैं, यहाँ पर 3 डिजिट्स में पावर दी हुई है फ्रॉम माइनस से प्लस तक. ठीक है, तो जो ये पावर्स दी हुई होती हैं दैट इज द फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट डेटा. एनी कंफ्यूजन? जी Rayan, any question? I gave you the example, Nawal. Double floating point 3 digits data. The answer would be in 15 digits, 15 decimal digits. ठीक है? And here 7 decimal digits. Shall I move now? Okay, constants and variables. Constant which has the fixed value. I explained in the class as well that if I'm going to put the formula of pi, the value of pi is 22/7. That cannot be changed. That is the constant, right? If I'm giving you the variable, the value which can be changed in the program, that is the variable which I give, and its value can be changed throughout the program, but constant's value cannot be changed. I think it's enough. Here is the difference between constants and variables. A constant does not change its value during program execution. A variable, on the other hand, changes its value. Variables are always written in letters or symbols. Constants are usually written in numbers and may be defined in identifiers. Identifiers are the again library files. Constants usually represent the known value in an equation. I gave you the equation of to convert Fahrenheit into centigrade and centigrade into Fahrenheit, or you can take the value of pi as well. So these are the equations which cannot be changed, right? And variables on the other hand represents the unknown value that can be changed every time. Now, these are the rules of variable, naming variable. I explained in the class as well and asked you to write 10 variables of your own choice with valid variable names. Valid variable names means you must follow these rules. Okay, names can contain letters, digits, and underscores. No other special symbol, no other special